pretty formidable pile of like frozen clay.
Begin with a special blessing, a bracha that we say when we come to a cemetery. And I'll have everyone in mind. You can say Amen at the end of the blessing. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Yotzer Eschem Badin V'Zon Eschem Badin V'Chilkel Eschem Badin V'Hemes Eschem Badin V'Yodea Mispar Kulchem V'Hu Osir L'Hachyoischem U'Lekayim Eschem Badin Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaya HaMesim. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who created you, who lie here in judgment, nourished you in judgment, sustained you in judgment, and brought you to death in judgment. He knows the number of you all and will eventually resurrect you, maintain you in judgment. Blessed are you who revives the dead. Ato Gibor Lo'olam Adonai, Mechaya Mesim Ato Rav Lohoshia. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayim Mesim Berachamim Rabim. So Mechnoflim Verofecholim Matir Asurim, Umekayim Menosir L'Sheni Yofor. Micha Mocha Bal Gevuros Umidoy Melach, Melech Memes Umechaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua. You are mighty forever, my Lord. You resurrect the dead. You are powerful to save. He sustains the living with loving kindness, resurrects the dead with great mercy, supports the falling, heals the sick, releases the bound, and fulfills his trust, to those asleep in the dust. Who is like you, mighty one, and who can be compared to you, King, who brings death and restores life, and causes deliverance to spring forth? V'al kol zeh anachnu chayavim lahodus l'chol liyachet hashimcha hagadol hagiver v'anoira. Ein aroich lecha adinoi Eloheinu ba'olam hazeh v'yein zuloscha malkeinu lechayei ha'olam haba hefes biltecha v'yaleinu liyimahois Hamoshiach v'yein doime lecha moishienu liyischiyas ha'meisim. For all the above, we're obligated to thankfully acknowledge you and proclaim the oneness of your great, mighty, and awesome name. There is none comparable to you, Lord our God, in this world, and none a part of you, our King, in the life of the world to come. There is nothing without you, our Redeemer, in the days of Mashiach, and there is none like you, our Deliverer, in the era of the resurrection of the dead. If you have over there, Psalm 23. Open up one of the folds. Anyone else wants? Yeah. I will chant Psalm 23 right now. As our sages tell us, this is King David alluding to many different things, but one of the things especially in this particular case, as I spoke to the family yesterday, took a little while, logistics to get our loving father, grandfather here. So it's that in-between time where it's quite difficult for the soul. And David HaMelech, this is one of the valley of the shadow of death, where David HaMelech, King David, is speaking about the moments when the soul comes into the world, the transition from that world to this world, and then again leaving this world and going back to taking another form of life. Mizmoy le David, Adonai roi lo yechzor, Minois deshe yar bitzeini, Amei menuchos yenaleini, Nafshi yeshoy veiv, Yancheini b'maglei tzedek, Oy leman shemoy gam ki eleich v'geit al mobes lo yirara ki ato imadi shiftecha uvu mishantecha heima yinachamuni Taroich lefonai shulchan neged zohir roi nishanta shemen roishi koyisir evoyo yachdoiv v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemechayoi V'shavti b'beis Adonai li'yorech yomim. A psalm by David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul. He directs me in the path of righteousness for the sake of his name. Even if I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they will comfort me. You will prepare a table before my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup is full. Only goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long years. Friends, and family. I know it's quite cold outside. But our sages tell us that every single person deserves proper kavod achron, the proper respect. For a towering person, we're here to pay our respects, our final respects, to Robert Louis Alpern, Laser Ber Ben Ramosha. No, friends, in the rush of life, there are many special people that we unfortunately do not get to know. I did not personally meet, I think I never met your father, but he passed away on Monday, the 15th of Shvat, which is known as Chamishasa B'Shvat, the Tu B'Shvat, the day that we celebrate the holiday, the Rosh Hashanah for the trees, Rosh Hashanah for all the fruits, the trees of the fruits. So when I look at the beautiful children, I look at Jeff and Michelle and Barry and the grandchildren and Susan, Tracy. To mention all the grandchildren, we'll mention them soon. I certainly know, as we say in Yiddish, the apple fällt nicht weit von der Beimele. The apple does not fall far from the tree. Having to get to know Jeff and Michelle for many years, and some of the children, I certainly know that this was an unbelievable person. So friends, I could weave together a little tapestry based on a particular concept, and to bring out at least a few of the qualities of Bob, or Pa as he was known. And I hope that maybe one or two of the family members could share something, because obviously what I will say will not do justice for this unbelievable person. So in the Jewish lexicon, there are three expressions when we come and stand here, what is called a Beis HaKvoros, a cemetery in the English, but in the Hebrew we have three words for it: Beis HaKvoros, Beis HaOlam, and Beis HaChaim. Now, why three names? You could say, well, it's the week of the giving of the Torah this week, and with Jews, if it's one Jew, it's two opinions. 3 Jews, it could be 15 opinions. So you need to have 3 different names. But in fact, friends, each of these names bring out a specific perspective. If we talk about the Beis HaKvoros, which means the house of the burial, that is one perspective for those people who look at life as one dimension. You live life and enjoy it to its fullest. It's all about me and myself and I. And as long as you live, it ain't over until it's over. But then a person gets buried, and that's the end of it. That's one perspective. That's Beis HaKvoros, the house of the burial. But as we know as Jews, that's not the beginning and the end of a person. We go into the next level, the soul dimension. That soul dimension, when we talk about Beis HaOlam, the house of eternity, we talk about a neshama, a soul that comes down into this world, that lived beforehand and continues living on, and is actually able to have a relationship with his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And the Rebbe once said, the Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory told someone that they can actually feel and know what's going on with their loved ones, and they care about it, and they're bothered if a family member is going through something, a tragedy or a difficult moment. So it's a soul connection. So from a soul connection, as Susan related, Jeff sent me the email, and she wrote, it isn't just one memory, but the way you lived this life with honesty and integrity. He was our not-so-gentle giant, rough on the outside, but filled with the softness of love on the inside. He loved us, our family, firstly, and taught us the meaning of unconditional love and forgiveness. He will always and forever be our rock. He was always there for us, every step of our way. Pa, that is what we called him. Jeff and Michelle lovingly shared with me some memories yesterday. Michelle mentioned that he was ready to give up his shirt off his back for another person. I heard the rabbi mention before that he had a heart of gold. These are qualities. In fact, this cemetery that we're standing here right now, he was part of the committee. fact, I think he was chairman of the committee, to take care of the cemetery. And as Jeff mentioned, how he took care of his parents devotedly. Those qualities are really neshama, soul qualities. Because as our sages tell us, it could be one father, one mother who could take care of 10 children, but 10 children can't always take care of a father and a mother. So for children, and in fact in this particular case, in this family, the children took care of their parents devotedly, constantly traveling there to Florida, have to stop their business and go there and take care of dad and mom. May she live in good health. Those are qualities that really bring out the soul. From a soul perspective, it doesn't mean if I put myself aside for another person, for another Jew, for another human being, I'm losing out. In fact, we are all together. Because I understand that Sheves Achim Gam Yochad, the idea of Avas Yisrael, the love of a fellow Jew, means that our souls are connected, our souls are tied up. Those qualities, Bob personified par excellence, to be able to be a businessman who lived, a deal was a deal. And as Jeff mentioned to me yesterday, he was highly regarded and highly respected in business when they traveled for a show in Las Vegas. And everyone said, well, Bob is here. They knew that if he came in, they could show him a merchandise and he would say, this is a deal you do, this is a deal you don't do. This is a person, as we're standing in the week of the giving of the Torah, Matan Torah, Parshas Yisroi, where we learn the 10 Commandments is the core basis to understand what it means to be a moral and ethical person. It is when God gave us the Am HaNivchar, Am Segula, to be a treasured nation, He really embedded within us this soul and the soul perspective to be able to live as a moral and ethical person, to be a father and a grandfather, a husband par excellence, devoted to his wife for 70 years, something which we can't even fathom, most of us. So many years. Those are soul qualities. And in fact, in the end of life, Jeff mentioned to me yesterday, almost the last Shabbos that he was there, he had the unique opportunity to take care of his father an entire shift when there wasn't an aide there, and he sat and learned almost the entire night. He studied from a particular booklet called Chayenu, which means our life, and his father was sleeping there peacefully, and that's what Jeff wanted, to make sure that his father can have a peaceful night, which some nights he couldn't have. Those moments that we remember, we cherish, those are moments of eternity. But yet, there's a deeper level. The Beis HaOlam turns into Beis HaChaim, the house of the living. How do we turn this place and ourselves into the house of the living? That is, if the loved ones continue to perpetuate the beautiful legacy of this towering figure of Pa, then Pa continues living on through his children. When we talk about a tree, if you have a cedar tree, the cedar tree gets knocked down and it becomes a part of a house. There's no cedar tree anymore. But if you have a beautiful tree, a peach tree, an apple tree, a pear tree, you might knock down the tree, but if you have the pear, you have the apple, you take those seeds, you plant them, and from that you plant another tree, another tree, another tree. The fruits, the beautiful fruits, the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, those are the physical fruits. The spiritual fruits, those are the mitzvahs, the good deeds that the family and friends continue doing. And when you do that, you have a personal way to interact with the soul. Because physically, yes, it is very difficult. We can't hug him. We can't look in his eyes anymore. We can't pick him up. We can't take care of him. But the way that we could give him a hug, when you open a book, when you light Shabbos candles, when you put on tefillin, when you give charity, those are moments that you're embracing him and lifting his soul. Because as Jews, we know this week we were given the Torah and God gave the Torah. We are not in heaven. He gave it down here because He wants that we should bring holiness in this physical realm. He wants that we should live a little elevated life. Yes, live as human beings, but bring it, imbue it with holiness. And when we do that, we will make sure that as children, as our sages tell us, that when God gave the Torah, He said, I need guarantors. Who are the guarantors? The Jews said, well, our rabbis will be the guarantors. Our prophets. God said, that's good, but it's not good enough. I want guarantors. And then Moshe Rabbeinu said, our children will be the guarantors. And then God said, that is good. Now I know that Torah will be perpetuated for the next 3,500 years. So friends, as we know our sages tell us, everybody that hosted a soul is like a little Torah, is like a Torah scroll. The fact that he hosted a soul, it's like a holy Sefer Torah, and that's why we bury it with tremendous love and tremendous care and tremendous dignity and kavod and honor. And therefore we also say to our family and friends, you make sure to be the guarantor that this neshama, this soul, is never forgotten. We'll put up a monument and we'll make sure that his neshama, his soul, that Laser Bear, Ben Reb Moshe's neshama, remains living forever through the beautiful fruits that he left. And they'll continue to plant more fruits and more mitzvahs, more good deeds, until very soon, when we'll be able to be reunited with our loved ones. As right now, the souls from heaven are coming, his loved ones are coming to greet him as he comes up to the world of Olam HaEmes, the world of truth. So too very soon we'll be able to greet all those loving souls, neshamas, souls within a body, with the resurrection of the dead. The core of Mamish may be speedily in our days, and then very soon we'll be able to hug him again and kiss him again, and to be able to be reunited with all our loved ones, the core of Mamish. Let us say Amen.
Amen.
Barry, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Go.
This flag, my dad, one of the last of the greatest generation, grew up in the Depression, nothing, and graduated high school early so that he can get into the Navy when this nation was in its most trying moment in the World War II. And he was very proud of his service, and that's the type of people that generation would give up everything and sacrificing for a lot of his friends, their own lives, to help this nation in its most trying time. And that's the type of person my dad was part of in that generation. That's what I needed to say.
Beautiful. That's the soul perspective. Self-sacrifice, to give up his time and the years to be able to serve for the country. Jeff?
So, I know some of you are cold, except for my family from Minnesota and myself. I thought my sister's words were excellent. Barry's words were excellent. I had the pleasure, most days, to work with my father for most of my life. And everything that was said was true. But I can look out and see all of you, and I say, you would feel very honored that all of you have turned out on a interesting day such as this. You know, as I was sitting here, or while I was speaking and watching the snowfall, I smiled. I think it's Brian Salt. I smiled, and I said to myself, this is the day he would want to be buried. It's freezing. It's cold. It's snowy. I mean, he would probably be thinking of all the thermal underwear and boots and socks we could be selling right now. So for this day, this is for you. Thank you all for everything. Huh? No? No? Oh,
Through the Korea, which is the rending of the clothing, which is again the beginning of the process of mourning and showing that a part of our heart was torn, but at the same time it's only our clothing to show that it's only the external level, it's only the body, because as we spoke, the soul and the soul level, we will always remain connected forever. So you'll, as I say the blessing with him, you'll say along with me, okay? Yeah, let's just say the bracha together.
Mhm.
Just gonna go down a little. So hold it with your right hand this part. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Dayan Ha'emes. Which is blessed are you, God, King of the universe, with the true judge. Before we're going to cover, I just want to mention to the family, this is a time that we ask for forgiveness and we forgive. If there's any moments in life that, we're human beings and he might have said something, we might have say something. This is the time to let go, to forgive, and certainly he forgives for everything. have tried to shovel, but the only problem is that it's completely frozen. So we'll get some help from the extraction over here.
Maybe these guys wouldn't mind if we were standing on top of the grave, so that
Oh, sorry. No, for the camera. The camera's videoing it, and I stood right in front of it. Warm it up? You want some hand warmers? We got some hand warmers. Yeah. Just want to get you a hand warmer.
justification, but